that with League, you have a little bit more of a set schedule. You have 3 months of guaranteed you're gonna play this much, period. And trades can be made, but they can't be extreme. You can't just completely shift your 5-man roster all and everybody goes away and you come back with a new 5-man, right? It
Because
provides that
oh god, dude,
it
this is
provides
such
a
a
level
bigger
stability.
issue.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
un,
no, I
it's
mean,
unfixable.
It's the fact
unfixable.
I mean, from a
that
production
the LCS in terms
to,
of health of the
to
scene
answer
is a good thing.
to answer the original question, yes, but I still think there's a manpower problem in Dota where studios and organizers can't afford to pay a lot of money to people work in that area. And I think if more people, took stats people more seriously, or took and they took those other smaller roles in production, or even part of the broadcast, the facing part of the broadcast more seriously, yes, that would be much more possible. But unfortunately, people don't. I mean, there's been threads, ages ago where people are like, stats people, literally, they're the worst things ever. How could I ever watch this? Where some people are like, I love it. And when you have something so polarizing like that, I just don't think,
It depends
everybody's going to come
on how
together.
you do it.
Right.
Like I think like
Yeah.
having a stats guy like in your game as your third caster slot randomly pop up and offer like various tidbits or whatever. It's either very good or very bad depending on who your stats man is. And I think it just needs to be controlled better.
Well, it's someone that, I mean, you have to find. I mean, there are good stats people and there are bad stats people, and you have to find the ones that fit with your broadcasters. But I mean, even beyond that, additionally, like the entire, we talk about LCS. There's all the supporting staff. There are resources there in Dota that no one uses. Like, we're the only. I'm fairly confident in saying we're the only studio that, on a very, very regular basis in our broadcasts, use like stats for supporting things. Like we had tons of extra stuff.
Here's a question to you, Greg. Do you pay your stats person?
Yes.
Per game?
As soon as we get paid for a broadcasting event, they will be paid.
Good.
Yes.
I mean, that's how it should be. I think
This is,
I'm asking. I just don't know.
I know. No, yeah, what I was gonna say is I don't believe in this like if someone's doing work for you, then they should get paid for the work that they're doing. If this person is doing valuable work for me, like whether all of that comes to the stream or not, like for TI, someone helped me compile an entire like fucking database of statistics for picks, for like everything. There's a shitload of information available that a lot of people are not using.
And the guys and the stats guys are great. And the resources are there. Like I remember Phage came to me, and I think he used the Standard Deviant guys a lot. What is
we use Mop Packs is the one that we use.
Mop Packs from Standard Deviants, or he got his. So Phage and Nahaz got together and created like a handbook to teach stat guys how to work. And Phage launched this thing, and they're an organization that wants no money. They just want stats to be prevalent. Which is, I when they started, I was like, you need to ask for money, but Phage didn't want to. So it is what it is. Phage is a lovely, loving person, and the stat guys are super into it. But this brings up a problem in the scene, and that is that the personalities, the casters, they don't really get paid very much. I mean, if you look at a cast... Well, if you look at a cast on Join Dota or BTS on a regular day, when it's not the big dogs, those casters are getting $5 a piece, essentially.
Here's the thing. Nobody in the scene gets paid enough.
There's this grand illusion that, like, someone is, like, buying Ferraris with their fucking money. And the only person doing that are the players and the fucking people that make the goddamn hats. Those are the only people that are making, and not in most players
there are
don't.
People.
Okay, there are some people, yeah. Well, some of them buy yachts instead. It's way easier.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
one. Like, even most players, if you just look at their bare salary, they're not making like a livable wage. Like even the most highest paid players, if you just looked at their flat salary and took taxes out of it, like that is not a livable wage. People don't like, but that I don't know. There's a lot of big fucking problems. I don't know how we ended up on this.
Well, it's not necessarily problems. It's
a reality of the scene.
We
don't have enough money.
Well, it's a reality of a burgeoning experience. The first 2 to 3 seasons of football, I'm sure they were a bunch of guys who were local residents who just started hitting each other on Saturdays and Sundays, and that's how it is. The scene grows, but how do we protect and grow the scene to make things livable? Is that something where we need to go players union, where we need to go organizing body, where we need to tell Valve hire someone?
We need to do a lot of things.
A lot of
It's
a lot of all
lot
the
of
above almost.
yes, almost all of the above, and then it's and even more than that as well. It's much
But
more complicated.
and
Yeah,
and, and here's the thing on top of that, it's not going to be perfect necessarily. Like this is the true Wild West. Like innovations and things like production value, wasn't a thing in esports until somebody was like, "Hey, I think I can improve the quality of the stream
Right.
by doing this, this, this." It's you can't just assume everything is going to be perfect, because we're touching on things that nobody's ever seen before, nobody's ever worked on.
Well, and at the end of the day, I mean, that's something we all need to remember, especially Reddit and fans, is that it started grassroots and it's growing in the same way that people start making internet series because they're fun and they don't plan on making a lot of money off of it, and then they get bought by IFC and then they get bought by NBC. The next thing they know, it's worth money. So we're growing something from the ground up, and that's where it's frustrating. But I think it's time to think about the next step and where do we go, and I think that the last 2 years, we've seen massive growth and massive improvement, have we not?
Yeah,
Yes.
I definitely think so. I mean, look at streaming. People couldn't make a living off streaming a couple of years ago. Now they're, pretty much selling out to the maximum degree, but they're earning really good money doing it, and good, safe, legal money. And within Dota and esports in general, yeah, I know I saw the
As opposed to the drug dealing stream money that.
No,
others
I
are
mean,
making.
like
not fucking like Korean money laundering money, I think is what he was getting
Right,
at.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, I
Where
guess it was
fucking
more of that.
own 3D, like
it's
just not getting paid.
Yeah,
Which
where
is like
where Twitch has become established to the point where a major company was willing to invest almost $1 billion into them, right? So it's going forward, and it's become really big. But in terms of esports, yes, I do think there's a lot of things that need to change, especially in Dota. I think by far, I think League is actually the most stable of all the scenes because they have a governing body. Do I think a governing body necessarily works in Dota? I don't know, but it's something we should people should be looking into, whether it be a player union, whether it be Valve taking over. We'll see.
Valve's never, dude. You live in a dream
They won't,
world.
because they have an application on their website that says
I wish I lived in the dream world where Valve.
No, well, I mean, here's the thing. While everything else is changing, Valve has to change too, and I think they're starting to realize some of these things.
Do they?
Yeah,
really?
they.
I bet they're wiping their tears at night with their
Right.
I mean, I look at the CS:GO scene, and those Valve employees are working really hard and making the scene as good as possible
So I have
and
a
stable
question.
and
I have a
healthy.
question.
Yeah, but isn't
So
there a
does
risk?
Valve-
Isn't there a
hold on,
risk though?
Hold on. Does Valve have employees that work on CS:GO competitively, like the competitive
Yes.
scene?
Yes.
But they're
So
not.
why the fuck don't they have that for
No,
Dota?
no, but they're
Because
not. They're not
different
dedicated.
entities.
They're
But they're not
different
dedicated.
entities. The
Oh
Dota
my
devs are different from the CS:GO devs. They're just
They
different
are.
teams
They are.
and different teams with different cultures and.
But isn't it
but
true?
it's-
Isn't it true under the Valve model? If the CS:GO dev gets bored of CS:GO, he can hop on a Segway and ride over to the Dota office.
I have
Yes.
I have no idea if it's as like simple as
I
that.
mean, I don't think it's
like,
as
people-
simple as that,
yeah.
but it's
Like
like
people
they
say it
claim,
is and they have that. Yeah.
the
I
claims.
don't think it really is, and I think both those dev teams have different sort of cultures, different environments, and um, it is definitely not as black and white as, hey, I want to start you guys, I want to start working with you guys, and you're just gonna be like
Right.
in.
It's tough
But
to just leave a team. We all know that.
I mean, one of the big things I can confirm is CS:GO devs do care about the competitive scene, and they work towards making it better. They listen to pro player feedback, and I know Ice Frog does too, but I don't know what the extent is. But I know that CS:GO devs actively try and make the pro scene as solid as possible, and you can argue even their like item economy is probably better than Dota. Like the item economy in Dota right now has kind of gone to shambles after Arcanas and all this sort of stuff. And there's a few items worth a lot, but like, in CS:GO, all their items are actually worth a decent amount minus like a lot of the commons, which is how it should be. And that is weirdly enough what also creates a stable game. CS:GO Lounge, hats. Charlie, I know you hate hats, but hats actually do matter.
I never said they don't.
Okay, you hate them. Never mind.
It's just an
That's all.
annoying motivation
I
for ticket
just
sales.
hate them. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that if Valve, in a perfect world, would like bring someone on board to help sort of manage the tournament system, Valve, if you're listening, I'll do it for $68 a year. Just call me. But at the end of the day, we need someone. We need somebody to help out with this.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Well,
The thing is, and the biggest thing is
Good
getting
fucking
somebody.
luck.
Let me. The biggest thing is Valve has to get somebody that they trust, the players trust, the organizations trust, a lot of other big people have to trust,
Right.
and getting that person is like a golden egg, you know, and that person might not even want to work for Valve, you know. That's the other thing. So,
but do they have to hire somebody out of the gate right now that's the perfect trust person, or can that person start to slowly build that over the next year?
No. That person is so fucking useless. Like this,
the
job,
biggest thing too is
that it's also probably more than one person. Like, this is a big fucking job.
Right.
It would need to be more than one person, and on top of that, you're probably going to run into a lot of red tape, and that person will be somewhat a fall person, most likely, in that sort of situation.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, you just go, this guy was terrible.
Well, I mean, like with most situations like this, the first one you hire is designed to end up leaving. Like, it's not a long-termer. He's there to stir things up, get everybody mad, and then the new one takes over. But that said, we all agree changes in the system. I think that we get better production value with better paid support. Conrad, you're right on board with that. But the sponsors don't want to pay for that, do they? I mean, that's not what the money's being spent for at LANs right now.
Well, they want to pay for what they can see, right? And they can see casters, they can see production, they can see that sort of stuff. But nobody looks behind the scenes. I mean, they can't even see production sometimes. They just look at the players, the numbers, and the viewers.
And that's another thing. People expect like the quality of everything to go up now and more money to come into the scene, but has viewership gone up that much?
Yes, 100%, dude. We got
I mean, to that extent.
Wait. You think the viewers have gone up this past year, Greg?
Yes, I think they have. I think that we've oversaturated the scene, so they're not watching every game like they used to. But I think there are more viewers.
Look at the average number of people who are watching Dota 2. It is higher.
Okay. That's a different thing, though. We're not looking at the average people watching Dota 2. We're looking at the average people watching a tournament. Watching something that a sponsor is paid for.
Yeah, but
that's the thing. If you can't, if you
tournament will, unless you were Sing, Dendi.
Right. So has viewership for tournaments gone up?
Yes.
Has it gone up significantly? I don't think it has.
Not significantly.
No.
It's gone up.
The Summit 1 was better than the Summit 2. It should be the other way around.
And that's sort of the point we're getting at, is where the money comes from, right? They're looking at individual tournaments. They're not looking at the overall scene. They don't care about the overall scene. They care about what they put their money into, right?
And is this a symptom, though, of the fact that there's so much? Because right now, I was just a fan. I wasn't involved with the community a year and a half, 2 years ago. And anytime there was a big game, I dropped everything. My wife was angry because I would be like, dude, no, Navi Alliance is playing. I'm fucking sorry. I have to stay home this weekend and watch this tournament. Now, I can catch good teams, tier 1 teams, playing almost any night of the week. And that's got to hurt viewership, and that's got to hurt sponsor sales.
I think coming into
it depends on how you look at it. It hurts peak viewership, maybe. But that's not the only useful metric. Peak, I would argue that peak viewership. It's one of them.
It's one that a lot of people care about.
But I would much rather have a lower peak viewership with a much, much higher average viewership.
That's not Monsters. That might not be Monsters' opinion.
That's what I was saying. Are you sponsoring my tournament, Greg?
No.
Because in the boardroom, when the guy in charge of marketing stands in front of the executive officers, he wants to say, hey, we sponsored this tournament and it hit a peak viewership of 160,000, not, we averaged 20,000 viewers. It's a totally different pitch. And that's what the sponsors, I believe that's what the sponsors want.
And it's not like it's bad, and I do think average viewership is important. But unfortunately, these people are trying to bring their money to, especially non-endemic sponsors, those people care about like the peak. That is their essential metric. And the other thing I want to say is I feel like we felt oversaturation. You know, people were talking about oversaturation, especially in the end months of 2014 there, because there was a lot of tournaments, and that's unfortunate. But now look what's happened right now. Nothing. You know, we have DAC. It's kind of nice, right? And I don't think this is going to last long, but, you know, if tournaments are willing to, you know, spread things out or just do a little better, you know, it could be really good.
No, they're not. I came back from D2L. I have like 5 tournament invites.
No, and that's the thing. There's a lot of invites, but I think teams and players
Yeah,
are
I
starting to
know.
realize the way that we should not play every tournament. Oh,
obviously,
shit.
I think some teams have realized this like before the end of 2014. That's not a thing, but I mean, like, tournament organizers are still going to compete with each other. I think players might have learned this lesson, but I don't think tournaments have necessarily. And the thing is that they come into this. They, I don't think too many tournaments is bad, but the fact that a lot of these tournaments, these organizers come in and they come in with the expectation that top teams are going to play in their event, and they sell their sponsors on the fact that top teams are going to play at their event, and then they're giving these invites to these top teams, and half of them go nope.
But on the other side of the coin, how about the sponsors who come on when the teams say yes and the teams pull out after the first week of play?
I don't think that's the other side of the coin. I think that's
the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing.
I think that's
teams
a
are
different
pulling out
part
of the tournament,
the
then
same
it's
side. Yeah.
you know, I'm sure something prompts it. You know, it's not just like you don't just.
It's one of those things where hey, somebody promised. You know, we'll go to the I-League situation, right? The I-League situation, they promised something. They got us to sign up for the tournament because of that.
Gotcha.
It was not, and there was a miscommunication. Regardless, we felt that we had to pull out because we felt like that's not exactly the situation that we wanted to be putting ourselves into. Where we felt that I-League said, "Oh, this is what's happening," and it didn't, and it wasn't what we thought it was. We decided to pull out because of that. It's not because of a sponsor thing. It's usually because something else that somebody's pulling out of.
Interesting. So once again, it comes down to because then fans get screwed, right? If you buy the ticket because you want to watch a certain team play, the team pulls out, the fan gets screwed.
That's such a low percentage of people, though.
Well, I feel strong. But my point is this though, Gerd. Yeah, I know I'm the exception because I'm an idiot.
You're the exception, not the rule.
But here's the deal: is it the point? I think comes back to the same with some production values, the same with regional invites. How do we start to hold the administrators of these tournaments responsible?
Stop fucking watching those tournaments. Don't play in those tournaments.
All right.
Like if you're a team, and this is starting to happen. This star ladder is shit. The star ladder that's in a week is shit. Like it's starting to happen. Look at the prize pool for this star ladder. It's completely garbage compared to the last ones. Like look at the teams that are playing in it. It's garbage. Teams have pulled out. Like it's starting to happen, but
so it's gonna take teams and fans basically. Mostly teams.
You have to understand that.
No, it's teams and organizations,
right?
Yeah,
to work
teams
together.
and players. I think, are finally coming to the realization that it's not worth it for them to play in every single tournament just to maybe get a little bit more money because it's just for whatever reason it's really just not worth it.
And then there's also the flip side of the TI invites and all that, right?
Yeah, and that's
where you have to make that perfect balance,
exactly,
right? And the problem with TI being so big is literally no other tournament matters actually that year, and it's just to get you to TI. Right.
Makes sense. And and once again that brings us to the TI 4 or 5 set tournaments a year that involve invites, but that's never going to get fixed if they hire someone. That said, guys, we have been going for somewhere in the ballpark of about 2 hours now. So we are going to do a wrap up.
Sort of violently turned into a Gerg show. My apologies.
That's fine.
Start Gergen.
Well, it wasn't as Gergy. I felt like it was very constructive. It wasn't you and LD arguing the whole time. So that said, though,
that's why that show sucks. I'm just kidding.
Let's roll our sign up.
Me and Charlie, we bonded this weekend.
Dude, you guys played blackjack together.
Fuck up. I flamed you more this weekend than I think I have the entire time that we've known. Actually, that's not true. But I flamed you a lot.
I mean, you flame him a lot. I don't believe that, Charlie. The slightest when you say more than ever.
Oh, God.
So let's do some final thoughts. Skim, last thoughts before we go. Since you sparked an extra 20 minutes on this show.
I enjoyed my first row seat. Yeah. Thanks for the conversation, guys.
No problem. Gerg, what do you got?
Thanks, guys, for watching. Yeah, that's it. Get Dota pit soon. I don't know. I fucking need to go sleep.
You have not slept. Enjoy taking off those pink headphones. Charlie, any last thoughts before we sign out?
Connie, I really miss you. When are you coming down?
Probably February. I'll let you know.
Okay, I'll see you in China.
That was cute. Conrad, any final thoughts before we go?
I just want to say thank you for bringing me on. Everybody should watch Coffee with Toffees. It's really good, and I can't believe more people don't watch the show. Actually,
That's the kind of plug I like, guys.
Just get on your fucking knees already.
No, it's not a. Hey, Charlie. When you start, when Greg, LD, and Charlie start bringing quality content, I'll plug that show too.
Yeah, that's never happening, and you think I give a shit about that?
I don't think don't call me
yeah.
out then. Don't call me out, bro.
I will.
Well, guys,
if it didn't mean anything, why'd you call me out? That's all I gotta say.
That is all we have for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Follow the show at Toffees_Dota2. Check out the brand new mugs that we just had made. And we will be back on Wednesday with brand new content for you. And Friday, we actually have the guests on the show are going to be the cosplayers from BTS are coming out to explain to me exactly what cosplay is and a little more about the community. So that should be a pretty interesting show, expanding on what makes Dota so great. So thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. And as always, guys, Toffees out. All right, guys, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call-ins. It ended up being way more fun than I thought it would be. So I appreciate that. We're still technically live, so don't say anything you're not supposed to say. But thank you.
No, thank you. And everybody should also watch and listen to Dota FM.
Thank God you said that.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say something bad.
Okay, as long as you're on there